Hey, this is Michael and Paul. Welcome back to our channel, The Virtual Investor. In today's video, we're going to talk about what is an REO sale in real estate. Now, you might have searched on Google what REO in real estate means. In this video, we're going to cover that. And we'll also cover, how does a property become an REO? And then are they really good properties for you to buy, these REO properties? So essentially, by the end of this video, you will be an expert on what does REO stand for in real estate and how a property becomes an REO property. You also know how to find these discount properties to purchase. And again, me and Paul, we purchased REO properties for decades across the nation, and we'll take you kind of behind the scenes and answer all your REO property type questions. So Paul, you want to kick us off on what does REO mean in real estate?
That REO means real estate owned, and it's owned by the bank or whoever really the note holder is, right? It could be an individual too if they end up holding the mortgage on the property. But generally the banks have it, they manage it, they service it, they take it back, it goes through the foreclosure process. Once it's foreclosed, they either try to sell it as is or they evict the people and then clean it out and then list it.
Yeah, no, that's perfect. Yeah, that's I think what's next best is like, how does these properties become a REO property? And I was thinking we'll just kind of walk through a story and feel free to jump in, Paul, whenever. Is you think about it, someone's a homeowner, right? They bought a house, they're living in it, they're making payments, and they might have some kind of financial troubles like losing a job. And then all of a sudden they can't afford to make the mortgage payments. 30, 60, 90 days goes by, and depending on the bank and what their process is, banks are then going to start mailing out what we call letters of default. This is essentially step one in the foreclosure process, and this is the default notice that people receive. And then from there, if you, the homeowner, continue to not make policies, you'll get a few more letters. And this essentially is kind of now we're in the step two, the pre-foreclosure process, where you missed a few payments. The bank starts marketing the property for sheriff sale, which is just selling your property at auction at the the county courthouse steps. And then once we get closer to the auction and the bank starts advertising for public sale, then auction date will be set. And then step three is essentially the actual auction date itself at the courthouse steps or inside the courthouse, really. And then from there, if a property doesn't sell at the sheriff's sale, and it could be for numerous reasons, actually, why some of these properties don't sell at sheriff's sale. Some of them could be a really high opening bid that the bank wants. No one's going to bid that high given the amount of work the property would need or the values. And another one is just a lot of unknown liabilities or liens are on the property from other second mortgages or solar panels on the house or whatever that may be. So these are certain reasons why a lot of properties always don't sell at the sheriff's sale. And if a property then doesn't sell at the sheriff's sale, it ultimately enters into the last step and becomes an REO property or real estate owned property. The property now goes back to the bank, and the bank has it. And essentially, the bank looks for multiple ways to sell these properties. Sometimes it's through auction. Sometimes it's just listing on the multiple listing service or MLS. And those are kind of like the high level overview of the foreclosure process and how a property becomes an REO property. Paul, anything to add there?
No, I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. Essentially, what happens to a lot of these when they go to sheriff's sale, and it's why a lot of regular investors don't want to get involved with it. You might think the price is okay, like for what's owed on the mortgage, and then you find out there's water lien, there's a tax lien, there's a contractor's lien, and you may have to, or solar panel lien. Like we've run into that, Mike. We've seen that even after foreclosure on some of these. So you run into all these different things. That's why that's a dangerous animal. That's why Mike and I love the REO, where all that stuff is cleared off and we're now just focused on dealing with the bank.
Point. I guess just an also misnomer too to clear up is not all these REO properties are, call it, poor condition. There's good, bad, and ugly in these properties. And, a lot of the ones we buy essentially are maybe 1990s, early 2000s style, where you just need paint, flooring, and new appliances, and the house looks great. Others are train wrecks, where you essentially need to do everything, gut it to the studs. So there's a wide variance on the type of properties that REOs are.
Comes to the market, you might shift that focus.
Another topic I want to clarify too is there's a difference between tax deed foreclosure and the foreclosure process that we talked about with REO properties. And one of the things with tax deed foreclosures, the main difference between tax deed foreclosures and the foreclosure process with REOs that we talked about is on the REO side, it has more to do with mortgage default. The tax deed foreclosures that you hear people talk about are more regards to someone not paying their tax bill for 2-3 years. And then once or twice a year, depending on county and your state, they'll go to a tax.
Those tax liens, and they're valuable things that Wall Street even buys too. And your trivial investor will buy a lien. Say the taxes are $3,500, they'll pay for that lien up front, and they get a return. Some instances in the middle teens, high teens, very good return. 16, 17, 18% return. And those essentially become guaranteed returns because at some point or another, somebody's going to buy the property and they'll be paid back with those returns. So yeah, different animal. Like I said, we don't focus on those, Mike, so much. We focus on getting the deed without any of the other stuff on it as much as possible. But there is that other play that you could do.
Yeah. And then lastly, let's talk about, when we buy, are REO properties vacant? Are they occupied? Both? A mix? What's the average? What do you kind of see out there?
I'd say, it used to be that you get them vacant the majority of the time. The bank got in there, got rid of them, filed that eviction, and moved on. But in more recent years, even since a little bit before COVID, probably back around 2017, 18, they created the HUD CWCOT program where they literally just foreclose on it, list it right away with an auction company. Some of them are vacant. Some of them are still occupied, right? So a lot higher percentage are occupied. I'd say probably of the CWCOTs, they're probably about a 50-50 occupied, non-occupied that we've seen out there. And it's risky, right? If you're buying an occupied property, pictures of the interior, it's a guessing game. And what Mike and I like to do is when we're looking at those, is just assume it needs everything, right?
Yep. That's the safe way to be. Assume it needs full renovations. It's low average condition. Yeah. Now, so, if you got some value out of this video and want to learn more, we got a free gift for you. It's called REO Blueprint, something that we put together. And in the REO Blueprint, you're going to discover 7 simple steps that will kind of get you started and guide you through the journey to buy a property through a bank auction that's an REO property. Again, click on the link below that has this free guide. And if you got some value out of it, feel free to check it out. And smash the like button and come watch the next video as we have a lot more topics on REOs.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.